Hello, welcome to Thriving Career Moms. I'm Sarah, the founder of Thriving Career Moms, a certified career coach and interview coach, and I'm here to help career-changing women and moms returning to work after maternity secure the right job so that they can live a fulfilling life. And today I have a special guest with me who is Rebecca Kiechl. She is a mom. She is also a product designer and a Scrum Master. And I'm really excited to have her with us today because I heard a lot of people being confused because of the current situation in the job market and not getting positive replies about maybe they need to change completely the field, look for a new role, and so on. So Rebecca went through a career transition herself, and she went from being a teacher to UX designer and now recently product designer and Scrum Master. Welcome, Rebecca. Tell us more about you and your journey.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. So as you said, I started out, originally I studied art history and cultural heritage, and then worked as an English teacher for many, many, many years. And after I had my second child, I decided I did not want to go back to teaching and I wanted to do something more creative. And that's when I started to look to changing my career and pivoting into a completely different field.
Okay, so you started looking for a new thing that is creative after you had your second son, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and how did you go about deciding to go for UX design?
It was a long process. I gave myself a lot of time. So really in maternity leave, just starting to research, when I had the time, haha, but when I was able to hold the phone and feed the baby or whatever in the evenings, just really looking for information on creative fields that were future oriented. So meaning that there were good job opportunities, that maybe something with technology, but I still loved, what I loved most about teaching was helping people. So I was really focused on finding something creative where I could still help people. And that's where I found that they met with UX design and the creativity and helping people. And so then it was just a matter of finding a course or some kind of program that I could learn about UX design. And that was, of course, more research and more time. But eventually I found a good one from Talent Garden, which is where I attended in Vienna. And it was a fantastic decision.
Nice. So you knew that you want something creative. You also knew that you love it from your work, the aspect of helping people. That's, I mean, you already were a step like ahead in the basics of how to pick a career. For you, I mean, what made you think that this is the right time? I know. So you were working as an English teacher. Is it like you were also employed when you went through in the maternity leave? And how did you make that transition? And yeah, as I told you, like, what made you think this is the right time for it?
Well, it was more like, okay, first of all, I was employed. The way that it works for English teachers in Austria, I was working at a school as an employed English teacher. So just like almost like any other teacher in the Austrian school system, except that I had 1-year contracts. So it was always expiring, my contract, after one school year. And it wasn't like a big problem to get it
Mm.
extended. That was just kind of part of the process. But what happened was when I went on maternity leave, I said, okay, I will go for 1 year maternity leave. But in the meantime, because of when I gave birth and how the school year starts and ends, my contract ended
Mm.
before I was supposed to go back. And they told me this would happen, and they told me, it's no problem. When you're ready to come back, you just write us an email and blah, blah. But somehow, like, I don't know, somehow in my heart, I felt like that wasn't right. And that wasn't, it just felt wrong that they did that, and that, I didn't feel like a respected part of the teaching staff, or I just didn't feel like it was the right thing for them to have done.
Yeah, instead of like expanding the contract and letting you have the maternity leave while being
exactly. They could have done it earlier. They could have just extended it for me, or sent me the form to extend, or they could have, there were lots of little things going on within the Austrian school system, all these things, and it just felt like the right time to step away and say, okay, now I have time to really think about if I want to go back. And I knew when I really thought about it, no, I didn't want to. It wasn't the right place for me to be. I wanted to be more creative. And I also, in the school, you have to go to school to teach. Obviously, that's part of the job. And I wanted to try and find something remote. So I enjoyed home office. I enjoyed being home. I didn't want to commute to the school or to an office. So that was also part of my decision, knowing that, okay, because at this time, I should also mention, it was right at the beginning of the COVID pandemic. It was right when home office was becoming a big hot topic. And I thought, okay, home office sounds really good. And I think this would be good for me. And my husband was in home office at the time as well. And it was kind of like, okay, I think I need to find a job where I can do home office, at least most of the time.
Yeah. And how old was your daughter at that time?
She was, let's see, she turned 1. She had her first 2 birthdays in lockdowns. So she had her first birthday in March of 2020, right after the pandemic hit, when we were all still in lockdown. And then again, the next year, her second birthday was also in a lockdown. Yeah. So poor thing.
I think because you also experienced it working while you had your first, right? So is it like
so after I had my son, I went back to teaching school after 1 year.
You have a son, and the daughter is also okay.
And then it was difficult. I didn't like having to bring him somewhere and then travel again and then travel back and then go home with him. It was just a lot, and I wanted to find something that I didn't have to do.
That fits that fits your criteria. Yeah. Okay. And once you did, like, you finished that course with UX design, I mean, how was your journey after that? I know you did an internship. You also worked freelancing on your own. How did you pave your path to the current job? Yeah, which is like the
it wasn't easy. I have to say, I didn't expect it to be easy. I was in the course with mostly younger people with no kids. They had no responsibilities aside from themselves or paying for their flat or whatever. So I knew it wouldn't be easy for me as a mom with 2 young kids to find what I needed for myself, my dream job. But yeah, so I finished my course. I very, very luckily got an internship, the opportunity to do an internship at a very well-known app company. And that really gave me some extra knowledge, of course, but also the confidence
yeah,
to know, okay, I'm good at this. I've got very positive feedback. And so then it was like, okay, then I know what my skills are and I know I'm good at this. So I need to look for a job that fits me and not the other way around. Like, am I a good fit for them? Okay, yeah, sure. But then is this job a good fit for me? So really looking at those descriptions and saying, okay, no, that's a red flag for me. You know, like this thing jobs say in descriptions, like, you know, we're all a family here. And it's like, nope, I have a family. No, thank you. My family's big enough. For example, you know,
yeah, for
like
you.
that. Or if I felt like the pay was too low, the salary was not enough. You know, so there was,
You had clear, like,
I tried to be as clear as I could with myself of what I felt I was worth, and to try and only apply to things where I thought, okay, I'm bringing something to the company, but also they're bringing something into my life, you know. Yeah.
Speaking of confidence, because you said like that the opportunity to do the internship at a good company and so on helped your confidence. What else helped your confidence, and how did you work on like that confidence aspect as a career changer?
Well, it was hard. During the UX design course, I felt not very confident, I have to say. And I was kind of like, ooh, I'm older than everyone. Everyone is catching on, you know, to some, especially the like design tool that we use, Figma. People were catching on more quickly. They had more experience.
More time to practice.
Yeah, they had more time to practice. Yes, that especially. So I didn't feel very confident until the end. So at the end of this program, we had like interview coaching. And so a lot of like what you do, and of course I spoke with you
we connected
several times. And actually you helped me quite a lot with my LinkedIn page, for example, and things like that. But especially this interview coaching and hearing from other people outside the program who came in and looked at my CV and looked at my experience and looked at my portfolio and said, wow, we're blown away. You're great. Like, if we had a job, we would hire you. And hearing that and thinking, oh, okay, yeah. And then of course, during the whole internship process as well, that my confidence grew, but also in knowing what I didn't want. So like the internship was full-time, for example, and that was really hard. And so I knew and was very confident that I did not want a full-time job. I just didn't want it, couldn't handle it, not for me. Especially not with 2 young kids. And so that also helped build my confidence in seeing, okay, this doesn't work for me and my family, then it's not for me. And yeah, so that's
so knowing knowing what you really want and not want, and also like this having people interview coach and other people check your resume and really give their feedback.
Yes, that was very, very
you
helpful.
realize your experience, your potential. Yeah, I totally, for this, most of the women actually that I help are like this, like, oh, I'm not sure and so on. But then when you look at the profile, it's really a good profile. So it's more like the confidence aspect that needs maybe some work and mindset shifts so that they can get the opportunity that I am looking for.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think we connected actually when you were looking for the internship, or it was after. I don't know. I remember. Like,
yeah, it was around that time where I finished
yeah,
my course and I was looking for jobs and it wasn't going very well. And then even after I finished the internship, there were several months where I was applying and applying and applying and getting lots of no's or first interviews and then no thank yous. And a lot of it hung on the part-time that I said,
yeah,
I don't want more than 30 hours. A lot of those no's were associated with
to the part-time.
that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so were you like from the beginning asking for part-time? How did you like? So were there jobs where they are looking for part-time, or you applied for full-time and then you asked for part-time? How was the process of the?
Both. So I specifically also tried to look for part-time positions. I mean, I do have to say I work like 80%, so 30 hours. So it's not 20 hours or even 15 or 10 as some people, but so it's 30 was my absolute maximum amount of time. I did both. I applied to full-time jobs where, they said full-time and then expressed, that I would work 30 hours.
Is it from the first interview?
Yes, I told them immediately. I didn't want to get to the end and then say, oh, by the way, I want 30 hours. And then they go, oh, that's a deal breaker. I wanted to be honest from the beginning. Because in my opinion, a place that doesn't support me as a mom is not a place I want to work. So if they offer me a job for 40 hours and then refuse for 30, then that's not a place that's gonna support me.
So you better know from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to know from the beginning, are you a company that supports me and my needs as an employee? Okay, no, then we're not for each other. And that's how I tried to reframe it in my mind so that, as soon as the rejection came, it was like, okay, well,
this is not the right
place for me.
Person for place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every that's one of the affirmations that I used myself, like, as every no brings me closer to the right yes. And I mean, like, really knowing that if I get to know, then this is not the right place for me. That's what it
exactly
means.
It was the same. Yes, I really tried to reframe it in my mind to say, yes, exactly. Every no brings you closer to the right yes. But I really feel it's true. I have friends who said yes to things just because they really needed a job, or they, and there were red flags, there were things they didn't like, or that they were a bit, like, oh, is this? And then a month later they got, okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah, or they just cannot stay more or something on their own.
Yeah, and it's like, and or like all of a sudden, oh, we hired you for full time, but you're doing 10 hours of overtime a week, and all of the, they expect you to work way more, all of those things. And so for me, it was really important to always remember, okay, I was honest, I said what I needed, and if I got a no, then it really wasn't the right fit, because you have to trust that when you are honest about what you need, that the right company will say, okay, we can handle that. We're flexible enough for all of our employees' needs. And eventually I found that company in BAWAG, but yes, it took several months and lots of, interviews and things, but
it was the one that hired you was also originally for the full-time, but then accepted that you told them part-time?
Yes, I don't remember. They might have also said part-time, full-time. Like they might have said in the description that they were flexible. So I don't remember exactly,
but
actually.
anyway, they accepted that
But they accepted 30 and they were happy, and yeah, there was no, and until now I've been there 1.5 years. There have been no problems with my times or anything, or even sick children and all of that stuff that comes with, you know, being.
How do you this is like maybe how do you manage? So for me, when I returned to work, I was like part-time and the only one in my team working part-time. I don't know if this is like your experience. I mean, how do you manage your workload as a part-time? Do you maybe have some did you have some team members that work full-time? What are your tips maybe, and how was it?
Well, luckily, I think because as well, especially because BAWAG is such a large company, there are lots of people who work different hours. So we also have lots of student workers who are only working 10, 20, you know, up to 30 hours, or only Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, or only Tuesday, Thursdays. Like, luckily, we have lots of team members who are actually, we're very diverse in our hours, in our availability. Even like full-time team members, you know, sometimes they say, okay, I'm not available Thursday afternoons because I have kid stuff or other stuff to do. So I think I was very lucky in this way. Otherwise, like during the interview and then in my first weeks of working, I just made it very clear and set boundaries and said, I'm unavailable for meetings after this time or before this time. My hours are, for me, they're 9 to 3:30 p.m. So it was really like set in stone. Those are my hours. I cannot work before, I cannot work after. That's my time. But luckily everyone's very supportive and understanding. And a tip I would say is just
set boundaries.
Yeah, be clear and set your boundaries. If you don't want to work after you pick up your kids from kindergarten or from school, then you have to say that.
Yeah.
You know, no one can read your mind. So if that's for you an important thing, then you have to just say it. And if it's the right company, then they will respect that.
Yeah, okay. And is it like there is meetings that you decide you choose not to attend because it's not of in the time? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I just decline, or I send a note, you know, in Outlook or whatever. You can always send a note to the person and say, yes, I'm you know, I'm only available until this time. The meeting falls outside of this time, or I can attend up until this time, and then you can, you know, send me an email or summary or whatever. But usually people are totally understanding, or they might reschedule, or they say, oh yeah, sure, just drop off, no problem, I'll email you. So it's until now, it's really never been a problem.
That's, yeah, I mean, I think that's also the result of you being when you were looking for a job, you really tried to find something that fits you as well, not just a job or close your eyes on some things that
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for sharing this. Do you have, I mean, we are close to the end of our interview. I wish I can speak with you more. Do you have any tips for those women and moms, maybe especially, who are now like in the midst of what should I do, getting the rejections, thinking what maybe changing their jobs and so on? What is what do you say to them?
Oh, I say find another person, at least one other person like Sarah or a friend who is supporting you, and that you can talk to. because that was one thing that really helped me the most, was especially talking to you, Sarah, I also had another mentor, talking with her about the process, and she, affirming that you will find something, don't worry.
Yeah,
just really finding someone. There are free mentorship programs available. There are other things available. Even connecting over LinkedIn, like Sarah and I don't know each other. We connected over LinkedIn, had video calls, like it's totally possible, but really finding someone that you can share your experience with, and that they will support you in the journey and say, hey, don't worry, like you're going to do this and you're great and you don't have to compromise and you will find what you need. It's out there, and it really is. And really have faith that it's out there and it will come to you, and it might take time. And I know it's hard. I really know it's hard to wait for it, but that it will come. And when it does, it will be exactly what you wanted, and you will be so happy that you didn't compromise and you didn't close your eyes and say, okay, yeah, it's fine, because in the end it won't be. And yeah, that's my advice.
Yeah, thank you. These are really, nice words. And thank you. Thank you for, it was my pleasure as well to support you and to hear that was like also part of, part of things that made you strong during that journey. So I'm glad to hear that as well. Thank you, Rebecca. And let us know, before we go, let us know how can people connect with you, where to connect with you in case there are some women considering maybe changing their careers to product design or UX design.
Yeah, sure.
Can they connect with you?
You can connect with me over LinkedIn. It's Rebecca Kiechl. Sarah can of course share the link then to my profile. I'm happy to connect with any women who are changing careers or interested in UX design or product design. Yeah, of course. And also happy to have a video chat or a call if anyone wants advice. That's also no problem.
So I hope you enjoyed listening to the interview with Rebecca Kiechl today. And if you are interested in finding that support person and having a mentor and a guide by your side, then I invite you to apply for my Unlock Your Professional Potential, Find a Career That Fulfills You strategy session, so that we can talk together and see your current situation, your challenges, and if we are a good match, then we will see how we can work together. Until next time, take care and believe in yourself. Bye.